What's up, Winchendon? Want to give you some updates on what's been happening. I know we haven't had an episode for a while, so there's been a lot happening that you'll be seeing throughout this episode. We'll be joined a little bit later with Pat Wood, our DPW director, to give an update on what's happening with some of the projects around town. But wanted to kind of catch you up to speed on what's been happening and then what will be happening. So we've had a lot of great events over the summer and the fall. We had the new business in town, the Sleepy Holler Antique Center, had a grand opening ribbon cutting for them recently. Had a lot of great events at the amphitheater. We had the Central Mass Irish Festival. We had, I think, about 1,500 people show up to that, which was great. We had the Harvest Festival, the Chili Cook-Off, the Barbecue Brews and Blues. Of course, we had Fall Fest in October, which, if you're there, obviously, and most of you were, judging by the size of the crowd, covering up Central Street. We had the Trunk or Treat over at the amphitheater, the Trunk or Treat in the Haunted Woods. I think we had about probably 4,000 people. And again, I think a lot of you were there. And a lot of traffic. And so that's one of the things we're going to be applying for a grant to try to increase the amount of parking that's available at the amphitheater at the park, because the events that we're having are just growing larger and larger. It's just a huge amount of interest, and it's great to see so many people from the town and families getting together and enjoying all the offerings that they have. Also went to the haunted hallways at the high school. Was able to go through the different classrooms by the different grades, 9, 10, 11, 12, and all the screaming. The kids really got into the screaming, which was great, and did a really nice job on that. A couple other things that have been happening. Like I said, mentioned we're trying to get some more parking at Ingleside Park. Also had a couple of veterans events on Veterans Day. One was at the Veterans Cemetery, the state-owned Veterans Cemetery, and then had one later that day at the American Legion. So thank you to both of those for putting that on, and thank you for those of you who are veterans, for your service. We have a few things coming up. So on Monday, the 24th of November, we're having the tax classification hearing, and what that is every town, prior to setting the tax rate, has to have a classification hearing. And at that hearing, it's voted, the Board of Selectmen vote whether to have a single tax rate for residents and businesses, or to have a split tax rate. So typically, a city or a bigger town that has a huge commercial base would have a commercial tax rate different from the residential rate. So they try to shift more of that tax burden onto the businesses. We don't have enough business here in town to do that, which is why we have a single tax rate. And so that's all that is. It has nothing to do with actually setting the tax rate. It's just whether to have a single rate or a split rate. Then on December 1st, we are going to have a special town meeting that's at 7 o'clock at the high school. And there's 2 items on the ballot. One is for the fire station addition. Chief Smith has been putting on a lot of information sessions about that, explaining why it's needed, and the economic impact and the conditions everyone's working in right now. And so that, in order for that to pass, it's a 2-parter. So similar to the override that we had earlier this year, for a debt exclusion override, which is what this would be, is it requires, at a town meeting, it requires a 2/3 vote because it's a borrowing. And then it would require, if it passes at town meeting with that 2/3 vote, then it would go to a ballot. And at the ballot, it would require a simple majority. And then, it would the cost of that and the borrowing interest and everything would be spread out over, we're looking at 30 years. And so, after 30 years, it comes off the taxes. So it's not a permanent, like the override that we had earlier this year. We have Christmas tree lighting coming up in December. There's a lot of good things. So that's going to be at Grout Park. A lot of good things happening at the library. Senior Center, please, if you haven't been down there and you're a senior, go check it out. They've got a lot of good activities. They also have, even for seniors and for anyone else who needs it, access to transportation. So we have, I think right now it's free or very low cost transportation options for people. So if you don't have a car and you have no way of getting to a medical appointment or to a job, please contact the Senior Center or go on the town's website, and it has a link to transportation. So I know over the past several months, the number of rides that we've been giving to people have tripled. It's really, for a lot of people, it's a lifeline to be able to either get to a job that they'd have no other access to, or to be able to get to a medical appointment if they have no one to give them a ride, or if they can't drive themselves, or if they want to go shopping. So it's more of an on-demand rather than waiting for a specific MART ride. Another thing that we did in October was we had a department head meeting where we invited the residents in. So we had all of the departments represented and had the residents come in, and each of the departments went down and talked about what they were doing, and then took questions from the audience. People were asking, hey, what's going into that business there that's vacant, or I saw something happening there, or how do you decide what roads to get fixed? Things like that. There were a lot of good questions, and it was a good back and forth. And for those who attended, they really got a lot out of it. And it was written up in the Courier, so you can find something about it there. And I think a lot of people didn't realize what it was all about. So that's why I want to let people know that it was well received, not only by the residents who were there, but by the department heads. They got a lot out of it as well. And so we'll be looking to do another one, probably in the spring. So just to keep the residents involved and informed about what's happening in town. Sometimes you don't have time to, call up or, make an appointment or swing down to town hall, but you're curious about what's happening. So, like I said, we'll do that again in the spring and also, let people know. So, like I said, we've got a lot of good things that have happened, and we've got a lot of good things coming up. And I think I have covered them all. So, thank you. Thank you for, again, for any veterans, thank you for your service. And I hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving. Okay, and we're joined this month with Pat Wood, who's our DPW Director. Pat, welcome.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks.
Just want to get a sense of some of the things that are happening at the Department of Public Works. I know you've been very busy since you took over a few months ago, so just want to tell the audience what's going on.
Yeah, we just stepped into a role that was already, functioning, and we had to keep things moving. So I'm still wrapping my head around a lot of the things, getting our capital plans aligned, our budgets, figuring out what works the best. So we're continuing to, maintain our infrastructure, which is the biggest goal I think we have right now, and trying to be more proactive as we can. We're going to have a new permitting system that the residents can use, but we're going to be using it a lot too. The permitting system will also have a work order system for us internally, so that we can keep things moving and ensuring that our assets are up to par and that our crews have what they need. The online permitting system is also going to help us to communicate with the residents, the contractors easier, help keep more of a historical record of everything, track payments, and get out there to do inspections on any kind of utility work easier.
So is that something the residents, once they sign up for something or register something, they'll be able to track the progress?
You probably won't have to sign up for it.
Okay.
It will be on the, we're still working all the details out. We only got the, signed the contract a few months ago, but it's a web-based permitting system, so you'll be able to access it through the town website, and then you'll go on. You might have to create an account saying who you are and what your address is, but then you'll get to see all of your permits that you have and whatever else you want to apply for, kind of all in one stop. And we're working with the building department too, so that there's a lot of times that you'll need a building permit, and building will have to communicate with DPW saying, hey, are they ready for this? And then this will streamline the whole process for them as well. So that's just one thing. And road work, we are wrapping things up, obviously, because it's winter. Yeah. The Central Street, that reclamation job was a big one that we fit in right under the radar right before the end of the year. And then the next phase of that will be milling from Jackson all the way up to Willoughby. So we'll have a good stretch of road that will have a nice long hopefully 15 to 20 years of life after that. And then, of course, we're going to always be looking for ways that we can improve pedestrian access. So we might be able to, at some point in the near future, put some new sidewalks in there as well to kind of complete that whole area, so that the roads and the sidewalks, they've kind of all been replaced at the same time, so that in a few years from now, if we have to go and repair, we kind of keep it all together again. We are always looking for grants to do more sidewalks. In fact, we're going to be looking at installing those sidewalks from Jackson Ave all the way down to the elementary school from a shared streets and space grant that we won last year.
Okay.
So that's I want to say it's probably a quarter mile of new sidewalks and repairs that we're going to be putting in. Some of the other things are that we're going to be doing we did submit a conceptual design application for more mass trails. It didn't, unfortunately, get passed in the first round. That was just awarded a few months ago, but we did speak with Mass Trails after the fact, and they were like, you guys were a really strong candidate. You also won twice in a row, so we felt like we had to spread the good news to other towns too, but they did encourage us to apply for this round coming up. So I'm feeling very hopeful that we're going to take the next step and get a conceptual design of taking where we have left off on Jackson, where the rail trail kind of ends right now, and we'll have an idea of if and how we could extend it all the way up to the New Hampshire town line to connect to their existing trails too.
I know it's been a dream for a while.
Yeah. So we're trying to get there as well. There's a Blair Square tip project that we did win through the Mass DOT tip a few years ago, and so we've, over the last few years, cranking through those designs. We're up about 75% now and slated to begin construction in 2029, maybe even earlier, because we're going to get everything done. I think we could probably slip into an earlier timeline, get it done maybe a year earlier. Well, of course, we got the Beach Street infrastructure and sidewalk project that we are hoping to kick off pretty soon too. We've that was through a CDGB grant. We've also got some engineering that we won through the grant as well. So they're going to help us take the design that we've started and that we have in-house and bring it across the finish line so we can get that out to bid and get that going. I think we should be able to see it next year, but outreach and public comments for that have already been coming in, so we're working towards that.
Plus the new park down there is coming along nicely.
It's going to tie in well to that. We'll be getting the water wheel for that pretty soon. The granite posts that we've been talking about are ready for pickup, and it's just logistics getting it here now and into the ground. So, by next year, I think that will be coming to fruition as well.
Okay. And what about the water line replacement?
Sorry, Bill. One question.
Oh,
one
yeah.
question. The water line.
Yeah.
Which one? Because we had a couple last year. We had the
large
major
project,
one.
the major
one. The Ashburnham and Winchendon shared line. It is a huge success. It came in under budget.
Which was great.
Yep. And came in a little bit under schedule too. So we've already seen significant decreases in our water loss consumption on that line just within the last few months. Veolia is ecstatic about it. So it's been, it was a huge project. It's great to get it under our belts, and it's only going to help us in the long run.
Yeah, and the good news about that project was that the state gave us almost a 30% forgiveness. Yeah. So that's huge. So that it's almost 30%, over $2 million that we do not have to repay.
Major project with a major win on that one. It was good. Excellent. Much needed.
And I saw you move the message board. Yeah. I noticed that this morning on the drive in.
Yeah. It was great working where it was, but just so the folks know, sometimes we have to move it every now and then because that's where one of our pump houses are. So the water guys come in to do service on the pump, and it's too hard to pull out with it facing traffic all the time. So they have to rotate it, and it's getting to be too much. So found a new home for it.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll be right there by the traffic light too, so people will have, at the stoplight, they'll have something to look at other than their phones.
Okay. Anything else you want to share? Or it seems like I know you're very busy. There's a lot of good things happening. You got a great crew and always looking for more? Or you? still hiring, or you have a full
We
house?
we're actually still down one water operator. And we do have an open highway position.
Okay.
So we are trying to fill that, especially with winter coming. The more guys that we have on our crew, is less people that we have to sub out to, and so I'm going to try to fill that as much as we can. But we've got some really good guys working for us.
Yeah, I know, it's a good group.
Dedicated guys. They work really hard, and I've seen the conditions that they work in too. They pull their own weight. I'm not envious of them. They do a great job.
Yeah, thank you to all of them. And
Yeah.
thank you to you. Thanks for joining us.
All right, good to be here. Thanks.